Okay, I have one for you. Why was the Scarecrow given an award? Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. And the answer to that joke will be something that you would see in the episode 4 of The Last of Us, where Ellie and Joel set out on their trek to the far end of the country where they're hoping to find Joel's brother, who is one of the Fireflies, or at least close enough to them that he can get Ellie to the people that she needs to be with. Joel's motivations, at least as he states them on the way there, is that family is important to him. Hardly anything else is. And the fact that Ellie is with him is because she's the cargo he's carrying. So he's looking after her, but not necessarily has the same kind of dedication to her that he would to his brother or even to Tess. And despite this, Ellie tries to be lighthearted about it by picking up a joke book at a gas station where they had to stop for a rest stop and refuel the car out of other vehicles. She finds this joke book and proceeds to run a number of moldy puns past him, and he seems annoyed at first, but seems to be warming up to it after a time. And with all of the survival and camping equipment that was provided from Frank and Bill's house, they were able to pull off the road and camp out in a relatively safe place, actually have a hot meal, actually enjoy ravioli, even though that it was in a 20-year-old can. And we think for a time that maybe the intensity of the previous week's episode would be paid off with kind of a travelogue, but that's not the case. By the time they get to Kansas City, things start getting real, and with that, they lose their truck. They are ambushed by a number of marauders, and we have a new villain whose name is Kathleen. Kathleen apparently is the leader of a group that took over a Fedra quarantine zone and is in the process of interrogating people as to their knowledge of two people by the name of Henry and Sam. Apparently someone very important to her that were held prisoner in the quarantine zone and treated badly, and now with location unknown. And we see one of the interrogations that she does, and the fact that even to someone who was very close to her before, none of that matters if they don't give her the answers that she wants. So she is a very intense individual who is not going to let anything stop her from getting to what her mission is. So Joel and Ellie find themselves ambushed, and they find that they need each other to keep each other alive. And while they are fairly successful at doing this, despite the fact that Joel is very concerned about what he is putting a young girl through, she points out to him that she really isn't as innocent as he seems to think she is. That said, they find a place that they can hide out, and the jokes continue to come kind of to break the tension, I would think. But we know that there is more coming in the way of the militia now that is in control of the quarantine zone, and especially from Kathleen, who is now, it's all personal with her. So interesting to see in this episode the detail in which they decorated the city. They used a Canadian city. I forget where they were, but they had a downtown area, an older downtown area, and yet all of it covered with moss and stuff growing in the streets, and of course wrecked cars and buildings falling down and things such as this that riddled the landscape. And it looked very real. It was very, you almost think, how did they build all of that? Which obviously they didn't. but it makes me kind of wonder how much of it was real and how much of it wasn't. There is more to know about the clickers, what kind of underground type of anomaly is going on under one of the buildings, and just what exactly Henry and Sam are and who they are and what they're for and why Kathleen is so concerned about them. That's all things that we're left to wonder. This dependence that Joel and Ellie have on each other is, of course, firming up their relationship, and we'll see now that they are less of driver and cargo than partners. And it turns out that Ellie is a much more capable partner than Joel originally thought, and has kind of given in a bit on the idea that she's too young to do this, or too young to know this, or too young to even be in this world. This is the world that's come that she's always lived in, and he's probably more naive than she is on points like that. So I'd like to know what you think about this. Please put something in the comments below on what you thought about this episode and where you think it's going to go from here. There are 5 more episodes in this season, so we have much more to see and to talk about. And if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so, because that helps us out and keeps us going. And by the way, if you hear the banging sound back there, we have a neighbor that's getting a new roof put on, but we're not going to let us stop us. So that's what's going on there. So until next time, don't go